3 golden eagles for War Thunder. Link in the description. Hello you sexy beasts, welcome back to War Thunder. This is the Ki-83, the newly added Japanese rank 4 heavy fighter sitting at a battle rating of 6.0. Sitting at 6.0, this thing can and will face jets of other nations and fight alongside jets of his own nation as well, due to the R2Y2s that the Japanese do get, which technically aren't really jet fighters, but you get the point. Now, this little thing is quite a surprise. Now, it is classified as a heavy fighter, and as such, it has the armament according to a heavy fighter. It has two 30mm cannons with a total of 160 rounds, as well as two 20mm cannons with a total of 320 rounds, all mounted in the nose, which gives it increased accuracy, of course. This totals up to an amazing total of 7.53 kilograms per second burst mass, which means that this thing does have the firepower to go after enemy bombers. There are a couple of issues with that though, and we'll go into them later on as the video progresses. Now, you do get two engines, which gives you a surprisingly good climb rate. The theme of this aircraft in general seems to be being more of a fighter than a heavy fighter in itself. It seems to be a very light aircraft with very powerful engines, which gives us a good climb rate, surprisingly good turning time. This thing can outturn most fighters actually. Of course, you're going to struggle against stuff like F-8F Bearcats and certain Spitfire models, but I find myself dogfighting against even Griffin Spitfires with clever use of landing flaps, and I had no problem keeping up with them. Of course, with such a massive wingspan that this thing does have, the roll rate isn't exactly good. You're not going to outroll any Focke 190s anytime soon, but you can turn with them, which is a good thing, because people tend to underestimate this aircraft very much. They think, it's a twin-engined fighter, heavy fighter. This thing must be awful at turning. Let's go after it. And then they get into a dogfight with you, and yeah, they get surprised. The top speed of this thing is indicated to be 704 km per hour, however that is not exactly true or achievable. Whilst, yes, it can go way over that. Actually, before we go into the top speed, this thing is an amazing diver, one of the best diving aircraft I've ever flown. It can catch jets, it can outrun any fighter that dives after it, F-8F, Spitfires, doesn't matter. If you find yourself in a problem, just dive away. Honestly, this one can go up to 870 km per hour in the dive before breaking its wings. I've had situations where I was diving after a Soviet Yak-15, which is a jet, and I was not only faster than it, but it was so much faster that the guy trying to dive away from me actually broke his own wings off. Yes, this thing can go faster than some jet fighters at this game. Now down below me is the B-29. And here's the problem. Whilst you do have a amazing output, in theory, with your guns, you do have two 20mm cannons and two 30mm cannons, and we all know how 30mm cannons tend to behave against bombers. They are a bit unreliable. And in this particular battle I didn't have too many problems, my ping was quite low. It seems like I did have luck and went into a European server. But usually in effort to reduce my queue times, I tend to have Russian and North American servers ticked as well. And I'm going to link in the notation right now a video of myself flying the Ki-83 on a 150 ping server and facing off against a B-17. I'm not going to spoil too much. It was it was quite embarrassing. But that's the theme in general with the Japanese guns. I don't know if it's just a lag. Here's the thing, I never have any problems getting my guns on target or hitting my enemies with guns of other nations. German guns, British guns, American guns, no problems whatsoever. Japanese guns, they have a reputation of being quite unreliable, and it seems to be definitely founded upon some kind of truth. They tend to spark a lot, they tend to bounce off a lot, and especially when you're facing off against fighters where you only have a split second to put effective fire into them, it can be complicated to fight in a Japanese aircraft, let alone a heavy fighter. Although, given that, since you do have a very good turn rate, that is generally not an issue. Now the Ki-83 can indeed carry two 50kg bombs, but they are 50kg bombs. Honestly, if you want to carry 50kg bombs on your Japanese hybrid fighter, heavy fighter, you're doing something wrong. Just don't even bother. Those bombs are completely useless. As you can see, the energy retention of this thing is rather good, as long as you don't move it around too much. I've noticed that you do tend to lose a lot of energy in turns, and somehow, even though it has a very good climb rate, it seems to accelerate rather badly, especially in straight lines. You don't accelerate at any kind of pace above 400 km per hour. Which leads me back to that, well, my issue with the top speed. You don't tend to reach your top speed unless you are going into a dive. And there you can see, the gun's not performing very well. Despite being 30mm and 20mm cannons, that Spitfire is doing mostly fine. Now loop around, I had a bit too much diving speed going on there, but as you can see, yeah, I had no problem catching up to this guy in a dive. Try to survive my fire, lead properly, and finally blow him up. Now going back around to the conversation about bombers. The thing is, once you have all those guns, they tend to be a bit unreliable, and your aircraft itself can't really sustain any damage. If you look at the X-Rail model of the Ki-83, it seems like this thing is made out of fuel tanks. Pretty much the entirety of the wings are lined with fuel tanks. And, well, following the tradition of every other Japanese aircraft, as soon as you're set on fire, you don't tend to put it out at any time, really, ever. You tend to just burn to death. A horrible, horrible, painful, burny death. Which means that, even though you technically have the perfect aircraft to go after bombers, you cannot afford to take a single hit, especially from those American bombers with their 50 caliber flamethrowers. Ugh, bad memories. So what I suggest you to do is to go into a high attack, high speeds, use your dive speeds, and come from bombers in a very, very steep angle. Just try to minimize the time you are exposed to your fullest extent. P-80 over there, he's trying to pull up away from me. Just about ran out of my 30 mils. We are both stalling out. Can I get some shots in? And yes, I can. Rank does not matter. I gotta say, I was quite proud of myself on that shot there. And that's the beauty of this thing. It seems to be a very light heavy fighter. It's kind of a conundrum, but it seems to be very, very, very light, which gives this thing just amazing turn times, amazing climb rates, and an amazing low speed handling as well. You can see I was going above about 150, 100 km per hour, and with the winter landing flaps enabled, I still had control authority to get my guns on target. However, if you notice something else, the final problem with this thing are the engines themselves. Having such powerful engines comes with a couple of drawbacks, namely overheating. This thing overheats constantly, as a big overheating issue. You can web during the first couple of minutes of the game, but once you reach that red temperature, web is pretty much out of your reach. And even if you let go of web, even at 100%, this thing still overheats. You have to get down to about 96% throttle in order to maintain a operable temperature. Anything above that, even though you can do short bursts, if you constantly stress your engines with too high temperatures, too high throttling, you're going to burn them out eventually. Now I only have 4 cannon rounds left, and I want to make sure that I get this guy. I was thinking about going back to the base, but I saw my friendly in the J7W engaging F8F, and one thing I know is that the J7W is not going to, well, turn with an F8F, but apparently he cannot turn away from me either. And as such he has spilled my doom pretty much. Yeah. You know what hurts more than bullets? Friendly fighters. So, kind of a short video today. I don't think I actually made myself clear on all the points, so I'm going to recap them very quickly. So, the Ki-83, rank 4 heavy fighter, battle rating 6.0. The pros: it is a very good climb rate, a very good turning ability for being a heavy fighter. It can dogfight with other fighters, especially stuff like P-51s and stuff like, and Focke 190s. No problems with that. It has an amazing dive capabilities. If you find yourself in a problem, you can just dive away from anything, pretty much. So altitude is key in this thing, and keeping your engine and your energy up as well, because, well, even though it has very amazing flight characteristics, it has rather unreliable guns, the engines overheat constantly, it has bad acceleration in a straight line, and it is made out of fuel tanks. Is it worth it? Yes. Even though I kind of struggled getting a good gameplay with this aircraft, something that would be worthy to showing to you guys, I've enjoyed every single battle in this thing. It's just amazing. It's just really enjoyable to fly. But anyways, this has been it for today. Tell me your experiences with or against the Ki-83 in the comment section down below. On the upper right corner you can vote for the next vehicle. The next video is going to be on the Leopard 1, as was voted by you guys in my last Dicker Max video, if I'm not mistaken. So on the top right corner right now you can vote for whatever comes next. Do leave a like rating if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you're new around here, and, well, my name is MikeGoesBoom. Thanks for watching.
You can lift your head up to the sky, take a deeper breath and give it time. You can walk the path among the lines with your shattered frame of mind. Or instead you could always stay. We can wait right here and play until somehow you can find a slightly better